Okay, well, welcome to another episode of the Kernel Panic podcast. I am Jeff.
And I'm Dave.
No, you're not Dave. I was going to introduce you.
Please introduce me.
With Dave.
Wow. This is the Jeff Show, also featuring Dave.
Yes, correct. We might sound a little different today because we bought equipment with all the money that you guys have graciously donated to us.
$3.58 and counting.
Anyway, we're going to talk about some news stuff today. The iPhone 8. Dave is a very big proponent of the iPhone.
I love the iPhone so much that I have not used an iPhone. That's not true. I had the iPhone 3G.
Right, and it's an awesome phone.
That actually still is an awesome phone. It still works.
Of course. Why would the phone stop working?
Because it's 8 years old.
That doesn't mean anything to me. 8-year-olds are when you should start working.
As you all know, Jeff is a big proponent of
child labor
and the free market.
I think it's actually sort of humorous that the iPhone 8 is probably made by 8-year-olds.
Yeah. And it will work for 8 years.
And the iPhone 10 is probably made by 10-year-olds because they have the knowledge in their brain.
To make a better phone.
Yeah.
That's deep, man.
Yeah. But that's actually not what we're talking about today. We're going to talk about
Thank God.
Something even more ridiculous, and that is the
Equifax scandal.
I don't know if it's a scandal.
How about the clusterfuck?
Yes. TM. So in case you haven't heard, all of your information is now on the internet.
It probably was to some extent before, but now the missing pieces have been filled in thanks to the incredible incompetence of everyone at Equifax, particularly the senior management.
I don't know who you can really blame. I mean, other than blaming Equifax altogether, like I don't think it's one person. Like if we work there,
That's why I'm blaming everyone.
I wouldn't blame us. This probably wasn't our fault.
I agree that probably a lot of the low-level IT people, and I mean this is something you could only find out if there was a subpoena for like all of their internal communications about this and what led up to this. I would wager a small amount of money that IT people at the bottom with no actual power to change anything were probably like, hey, we should be investing way more money in security.
Oh, investing.
Investing is what I meant to say.
Right. Yeah, probably. I mean, you would like to think that since they are one of the three major like credit bureaus in the United States, that, you know,
it would almost count as a matter of, I don't know, national security for them to actually have the security that they're, as you said before, they're like selling it based on security, right?
Right.
That's part of their whole pitch is like, we're good stewards of this data.
Yeah. I mean, I think one of the most frustrating things for me is that, I mean, I signed up for Equifax. Like I went through their website to like get my credit report from them. But there are so many people, I would say the majority of the 143 million people that like don't have an Equifax account, like never themselves were like, here's my information, Equifax, give me my information back. It's all the people that are, you know,
when data was sold into that.
Yeah, like when you're going to buy a car or when you're applying for a job or getting a new apartment or using, you know, signing up for home utilities or something.
Yeah, I agree that it was like, and from the beginning, as you said before, it has like selling information about people has kind of been their model from the very beginning.
Right.
But it's still, you know, I think that's probably where the majority of, certainly where my anger comes from, and probably the majority of the anger that's out there is this like, well, I didn't even sign up for this. You don't have a contract with me where I allowed you to store this data.
Well, I think you do. I think like when you're signing your credit application, you're saying like, oh, send my information to whomever.
Yep.
So,
well, it's the beauty of, so in the spirit of the law, they're protected and you have consented. But in reality, no one has really consented.
Right. I mean, it's like terms of service or like EULAs. No one's
accept.
reading like 85 pages of legal jargon.
There was a company, I think it was a software company, that hid a clause at the bottom of one of those that said, if you see this, we'll give you, it's like $1,000 or something.
Yeah, I remember you.
And they never had to pay it out.
Yeah. But anyway, so I would assume most of you have heard of this, and you're probably wondering, or maybe wondering, what you can do about it. First, assume that your information has been leaked. If it hasn't been in this one, then it's probably out there for something else. I mean, 143 million people is like, I would say 90% of all adult Americans.
Yeah.
I mean,
you should assume that you've been popped.
Yeah. You always use the word popped.
I like it.
I don't know
it's
why.
It's punchy. Well, because it's slang for hacked. Like
but
having a
hacked.
box get popped is, I don't know, hacked I think it's a stupid, misused word, and like we have long ago lost that battle already. Like it just means computer crime now. But I still don't like using it.
I don't know. It just when you say popped, I picture like one of those stress things where like you squeeze it and then like its ears and eyes like come shoot out of its head.
I like that. So when I'm saying it, I kind of picture somebody getting a shell on one of your servers.
But what is popping?
I don't know.
Right.
You pop open a shell. The box has been popped. Like, it's deflated. Its defenses are down.
All right. Anyway, so assume all of your information is out there. What you can do, well, there's a few things you can do. One, I wouldn't go to Equifax's website because, as some of you might know, they can't even get the website correct.
They tweeted out a phishing website that was just harvesting people's social security numbers.
No. So the guy that made it did it on purpose. He was a white hacker saying like, you guys are idiots for doing this. See how easy this is?
Wow.
And like at the very top of the page, I don't have it up, but at the very top of the page, it said like, this is not Equifax's website.
And they still link to it.
Right.
Oh, God.
Like it said it in a more cryptic way, but it was like pretty obvious if you read or looked at the website. But yeah, it was like Equifax Security 2017 or something. And the guy just reversed security and Equifax. And then their Twitter account retweeted this out. And hundreds, probably thousands or hundreds of thousands of people went to this website to type in their information to see if they had been hacked.
That is hilarious and shameful.
Right. And I mean, so on that website, when you typed in your information and it said, hey, your information is probably, compromised, sign up for a year of free credit reports or credit monitoring, which then after a year you pay Equifax, I think it was like $12, $10 a month or something. So what they did was get all of your information stolen. Then they were like, hey, come to this weird looking website that has a weird domain name, type in your personal information so we can verify whether or not your information was stolen from us, the person you're now giving your information back to, and buy this thing from us after a year.
Which you'll be automatically signed up for auto renewal.
Right.
What is it, like $15 a year or something?
No, I thought it was like $15 a month.
Oh my God.
Right. It's like credit monitoring. It's like that LifeLock company. Right. I don't think it's cheap.
That is, oh my God.
Right. The calamity of errors that has happened so far is absurd. Like, I don't know who's making these decisions.
Maybe sort of no one. Maybe that's kind of the whole problem.
So you think that it's like good intentioned dumb people?
Potentially. So I don't think that explains all of the things. But I think if the people that are actually making decisions at the top really don't know what they're doing, I feel like that's one of the things that makes companies look like they're flailing in this way. where like kind of like the feet don't know what the shoulders are doing and the head has no idea what the hands are doing. And everyone's just like randomly like registering new domains and then like linking to phishing sites and grooming your compromised customer base to get phished again by making them like trust this kind of insane process of like go to a different website with a different SSL cert.
So I don't blame the dude or the person, sorry, that posted the phishing link on Twitter. Like that, that's not his fault. That just shows that them making that absurd
Yeah, I agree.
domain name, it was idiotic.
Yes.
I don't blame the person that had to make that site, because I'm sure he was told by someone to make that site. Whoever made the decision to do that, that was not an intelligent decision to make. I just don't know who you blame this on.
And so maybe the first thing that comes to mind is always the people at the top, because they are being compensated in a way where their job is to understand what they're doing and then make the mostly right decisions about it. At least the big ones, right? I mean, that's why these people make $15 million a year.
See, I think they're just good at selling shit and making money.
I agree. But like, that is the bullshit story that they tell about why they make so much money and about why they have so much power at the top of a company like that. I agree with you that that's probably the reality. I mean, it's that those people are either lucky in the right place at the right time, backstabbed the right people, played the right game to climb the corporate ladder, and probably don't know all that much about certainly the technical side of what their company does.
Of course not. I don't blame. See, that's the thing. I don't know if I blame them at all. Well, okay, that is the wrong thing to say. I definitely blame the CEOs and stuff, but they're also, I want to give them the benefit of the doubt. I want to give them the benefit of the doubt that they are idiotic idiots, whatever. They're dumb and didn't know any better because they're not supposed to be. They are like the CEOs and the sales guys and the guys running the company. They're supposed to have some sort of CTO or engineering security manager that is supposed to be handling this stuff.
I agree with you, presuming that whatever emails and internal communication gets confiscated as a result of this over the next 6 months to a year, whatever they don't manage to destroy quickly.
Do you think that they're actually going to get any of the information out of them? Oh, I guess when they get sued, yeah.
If no one has busted in there and started shutting down service and like confiscating them yet, I don't think anything juicy is going to come out of it because it will have been removed.
Maybe, but in the lawsuit, I mean, there's going to be a lawsuit. I think there is a lawsuit.
Yeah. So that's the thing. If information comes out that shows, for example, this is what I would put money on. They put technical people in charge. By the way, these would be the technical people that they've now let go, right? The head of security,
right,
and some other like low-level technical exec.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be surprised if those people were constantly like, "Hey, security is one of our main, company values, but we feel like it's been really underinvested in. Please give us a better budget. We got to do these things." I wouldn't be surprised if that was shot down from above, as it often is in business.
I mean, maybe I just want to give them the benefit of the doubt that they were completely inept.
See, when that's your only defense, is that you're a bumbling fool getting paid $20 million a year or something?
No. I'm not.
That's sad.
I keep wanting to come back and say that I don't blame the CEOs. I mean, but I do. I mean, it's ultimately their fault. What I hope happened is that the leader of their IT department or the person that does their security, he was inept and he didn't know what was going on. So he never told the CEOs and, the higher level people, this is what the problem was and we need to fix this. That's what I'm hoping. I don't think that's the case.
That's very sweet of you. I think that is the most forgiving situation it could possibly be.
No, I don't think any of this
is one
forgivable.
Really bad apple, and then like the rest of this is sort of like, okay, I can understand how it at least happened.
Right.
If that was the case. You have one high-level IT guy who's taking who's actively ignoring other technical people under him who are screaming, "Hey, we need to fix this"?
Well, I'm assuming everyone's inept.
Okay.
Ideally, that's what happened. Everyone at that company was inept. But considering the amount of money that they make and what they are dealing with,
Right.
like people's information,
Sure.
they shouldn't be allowed to be inept.
Yeah.
And this company should go under.
Yeah, I mean, they deserve to die for this. I mean,
The company,
whether
not
or
the
not,
people.
right. Obviously, I mean the company. I mean, this, even just the fact that this was allowed to happen is like, I'm sorry, but they had their chance. And even if it was just like a string of really bad luck,
Right.
you deserve to go under for this.
Right, which I don't know if they're going to.
No.
Because they're one of the three.
Yep.
But yeah, so anyway, so what can you do about it? Right now you can
Lock your,
right
freeze your,
yeah, those are actually two different things.
locking and freezing?
Yeah.
Oh, what's the difference?
We should really be prepared for things like this. So here, according to the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, the one that is supposed to be monitoring all this and, telling you what to do and making sure that Equifax goes down for this shit.
You mean the one that has a anti-regulation lobbyist in charge now?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, can we continue here?
Oh, what? Like that's not important?
It's not important.
To have a guy that's like trying as hard as he can to headshot net neutrality?
That's not what we're talking about in this episode.
But those are the people that are the cops in this situation, which gives me no confidence that the robbers will ever be caught or punished.
I had assumed that already.
Well,
anyway,
I'm saying it out loud.
This is what, according to the FTC and most people online, this is what you should do. So first, you should check your credit report. You should get your credit report from all three of the credit companies, the credit report companies. So Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. And you can do that at annualcreditreport.com. Actually,
That's the official
annualcreditreport.com. Yeah. And if there are any accounts on any of those of your three credit reports that you don't recognize, like if there's something that you're like, I don't have a credit card and I don't have a Discover card that's based out of
Iowa.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to be U.S. hackers, but that's besides the point. Anyway, so then you can go to identitytheft.gov and they can help you out with getting your identity back, which is a fucking shit show.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can consider putting a credit freeze on your account. A credit freeze it makes it harder for someone to open up a new account in your name, which means if you want to go get a loan or go get a credit card, you're not going to be able to, and the company's not going to be able to until the freeze comes off.
So the idea is that you quickly unfreeze and refreeze this around any actions that you do that require.
Yeah, but I don't actually think you can do that as quickly as it's not it's on now, it's off now.
I see.
Yeah. Of course, you want to monitor your credit cards and your bank accounts because that information was also stolen. In some cases, I think there's 210,000 credit card numbers that were stolen, which I would much prefer to have had my credit card number stolen than my Social Security number.
The problem also is that the Social Security number was never meant to be
what it is. Yeah,
what it is, and literally the first couple generations of them had printed on them this is not to be used for identification.
But it is everywhere.
But it's the primary bit of shared secret information that we use.
Right.
At least in this country.
And then if you don't want to do the credit freeze, because it's kind of annoying, not being able to get credit at all, you can put a fraud alert out on your credit profile, and that just says there's a chance that my information was stolen. Please make sure you check your information, check my identity thoroughly when I'm applying for credit, which is fine if you're going to the car dealership or you're signing up for a credit card. But if someone's using your information in a devious way, then they're just going to bypass that. So that doesn't really help you all that much. And probably the biggest thing that's going to happen, and this is like the most annoying part because me and Dave both know someone that this has happened to, is whoever stole your information, they can file your taxes now. And they can file your taxes incorrectly. So you get money back, or they get your money back, or however they filed them back. Then once the IRS audits you, you owe them all of this money, and you can't file your own taxes.
That sounds like it'll be a breeze to fix.
It
when
will
it
not,
happens.
because me and you both know someone that had their taxes filed early, and that person can no longer file their taxes online. They have to do it all through paper.
Oh, God. Yeah, that is terrible.
Forever. They can never file their taxes online again.
On the bright side, if enough people get screwed by this, then maybe things like that will change.
Yeah, so that's the only sort of bright side, is that instead of being like 1 out of 100 or 1 out of 200,000, you're now 1 out of 143 million. So the odds of your credit being destroyed because of this are fairly low. I mean, there are definitely people with much better credit than me that they should take their information and their credit instead of mine. It's like, why destroy something that's already destroyed? I mean, are you going to destroy it more?
Wow.
Yeah.
We should have a talk about financial habits after this.
Next episode is about
how to fix Jeff's credit.
Yeah. Donate money to us, guys, please. I need all the help I can get. That is an interesting question that we need to eventually bring up to our listeners, viewers.
I would say viewers too.
Yeah, but it's listeners. It's
Thank you, I'm aware.
How we should fund this. If they want us to have ads, if they want us to do some sort of Patreon.
Yeah, I would like to choose the way that the least annoying way that works.
Right. So, speaking of which, I think we'll have it up by the time this episode is up. We have a survey out. There'll be a link in the description. It'll be survey.kernelpanicpodcast.com.
We're now confident in our description linking abilities.
And, well, we know how to make DNS and CNAMEs for things, so we can definitely...
That's what we do.
We can definitely do this. It'll be survey.kernelpanicpodcast.com.
You'll just CNAME that to whatever the link is. That's
so go there and give us your feedback.
It's good to have tech guys in charge of the show.
So yeah, survey.kernelpanicpodcast.com. And I think we're going to do a giveaway. We're going to do a $25 Amazon gift card giveaway. So if there's only one of you that do the steps that you're going to need to do this, you're going to have a good chance of getting $25 free from us. What you're going to have to do, which it's kind of annoying, but there's no other way to do this right now, is you're going to have to leave a review in the iTunes store on our podcast. You can give it 0 stars, you can give it 5 stars, give it whatever stars that you want. But leave a review with some sort of text in it, and then your name. It doesn't have to be whatever your handle's going to be. It could be like Bob Sled if you really want it to be. But so leave a review on iTunes. Then go to our Twitter account at
Kernel Panic Live.
Yeah, at Kernel Panic Live. Follow us, and then tweet at us or send us a DM with your review. Like
the text of your review.
Yeah, the text of your review or the name of your review. And then in 2 weeks, we will end the contest and send someone a $25 Amazon gift card.
Sound good? So what we're trying to do is just get some feedback about how we're doing, what kind of segments you guys want to see, whether or not you want to see, some interviews, which we can definitely start doing, more educational content, more witty banter. I'm sure you're dying for more of that.
We're paying for reviews. We're paying for good reviews. That's what we want. We want good reviews, and we know that you guys are all jerks and won't give us good reviews
Unless there's a little something in it for you.
Right. So that's what we're going to do.
At least we're honest about it, Jeff.
Right. Which you couldn't say about the Equifax people.
I'm kind of interested in reading some. So in the first days about this, let me know if you're not like ready for this.
Well, do you mean the first days as in like
After this story broke as a huge
after the story broke, not the like
thing.
2.5 months they knew about it but didn't tell anyone?
That is also a thing.
Right.
Fuck, I feel like we should have written down a list of the things.
I think this is perfectly fine.
Okay.
I say no edits.
Just boot it out into the wild like this.
Just pop it off.
Just pop
it.
Pop it.
Pop it.
Is it Amazon?
No, it's not Amazon.
Jeff wishes it was Amazon.
I know, I really
He's checking his phone
nonstop.
literally every 15 or 20
Because we're
seconds.
holding these like 3-pound microphones, and I have weak, skinny, like
IT guy arms.
yeah. And it's not a thing that I enjoy doing.
Yeah, after the first 40 minutes of recording, they do become kind of heavy, these new mics.
Yeah. And I was also up for like 14 straight hours playing Destiny. So my arms are all like...
Wow, all worn out from clicking.
Yes. My hands got
Wow,
cramps
Jeff.
because I was playing for so long.
Jesus, that is the saddest fucking thing I've ever heard.
That's all right. Anyway, so what were you want to talk about?
Well, in the first days after this story broke as a big deal, I started looking primarily at Hacker News, which is news.ycombinator.com.
Which is a terrible, terrible name for a website.
But see, that's one of the problems I have with the word hacker, is when this started, it still had a different connotation. It was like everyone being worried about cyber security.
Elite Haxor?
Yeah, well, it meant,
Haxor.
Hacker. It was somebody that like hacked together clever software that used systems for things that were awesome.
I mean, that's what we do every day.
Yeah.
Everything I write is a hack.
Yeah.
I am a hack.
Well, that's what it comes from, I think.
Right.
Hackers, like someone who makes like poor hacked together furniture.
Or someone that chops up their family with an axe in the bathtub.
Watch out for those frustrated IT guys in your life, kids.
That would be a hacker also.
Anyway, so it's one of my favorite like IT news sites. There are a lot of very, very smart people having interesting discussions there. So I generally check it for any like big news to see, people that know a lot of stuff that I don't, maybe even specific to the industry that's being discussed, to kind of like drop some knowledge and maybe change my perspective or show me something that's a little bit different from the headlines that I'm seeing.
Ty Lopez.
What are you talking about?
You said knowledge.
What is Ty Lopez?
You really don't know who Ty Lopez is?
Is it a YouTuber?
He's like the famous self-help guy that in his garage with his Lamborghini, he has tons and tons of bookshelves filled with books.
That sounds like the lamest pitch of all time.
He's awful.
Okay.
Anyway.
He's famous?
Yes.
What have I done wrong with my life?
I don't know.
Next week on the Kernel Panic podcast. Anyway, so I started reading there and I found a couple interesting points. I think the most interesting point that I haven't really heard raised in conversations with friends or just around is the fact that this is even a problem on two levels is a sign of a broken system that's bigger than just Equifax.
What do you mean?
The first thing being the fact that our social security numbers are being used as like proof of identity, which they were never designed for, explicitly not designed for.
Okay, so if they didn't use our social security number,
Right.
we
would need a different system.
They would use our name, address, phone number. They would use other publicly available information.
Right. Or since we invented public key cryptography almost 50 years ago,
give everyone a PGP key?
Some secret. It's just slightly more entropy than 7 digits.
No, it's not like people are guessing other people's social security numbers. This number, even if Equifax had this secret PGP number.
But what if you had it as like PKI where things are signed.
It doesn't matter. What? So
That the key is never stored by some third party that you literally have never even like had contact with.
So you're saying that people have to keep their own key.
You're right. This is never gonna fucking work.
Right. People would lose it all the time. I literally lost my social security card like 7 years ago.
Shit. Okay, so you make a good point.
Right.
So that's only problem number one.
Unless they do
something better.
Unless they do fingerprints.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what they do when you get arrested is your fingerprint, not your social security number.
Right. Probably because Equifax just dumped them out on the market. They can't do it anymore.
No, they never did that.
I hate you. So the other point that I actually think is even more... So, like, I do think that's a problem. Maybe there's no great solution yet. Maybe there is.
I don't know if there ever will be.
I think we're clever enough to come up with something.
Like what?
I don't know. I'm
DNA?
not that clever.
Whatever. If your information is stored by someone somewhere, it can be stolen.
I know, but like if the Diffie-Hellman key exchange can be invented, there's enough cleverness in the human race to like figure out some system where the secret doesn't have to actually be given up every time that you want to check if it really is the person that has the secret.
I guess. I think the only way that it could potentially work is that if everyone kept their own information.
Yeah,
like
you're right about people being terrible at that.
Right. Or if there was some like central like Bitcoin. Some central encrypted thing.
Yeah, I mean like we couldn't even get people interested in like encrypting their email.
Right.
After the whole NSA thing. So you're right. I doubt that people keeping and managing their own secrets is really like a plan that's going to work.
I mean, a perfect example of people not caring is yesterday when me and you went to the guitar store to buy this new microphone and thing, and they were like, "Oh, can I have your phone number?" Dave was like, "No," and I was like, "You can have mine because I don't give a shit."
Jeff just rolled right over.
Yeah,
it's the saddest thing I've ever seen. He was like, "You want my home address too?"
Yeah, I just don't see what the point. Like, who cares?
I understand that pragmatically, what you're doing is absolutely logical. I understand that, but
that's what everyone else does, too.
I know, but someone has to make a fuss occasionally about the principle of the thing.
No,
and that's what I'm doing.
Then you're just the asshole.
Well, fine. So I'm the asshole. I know and that's why I'm not like mean to the guy. Like he's making $10 an hour to like invade my privacy for somebody else. So I'm not mad at him, but I'm just not going to give it to him.
Whatever.
Are you ready for point 2?
You have a Facebook account, don't you, right?
Yeah, but I only log in like once every 8 months.
It doesn't matter. Your information's still there. They still have a profile on you.
Yeah, but like barely any of it is there.
Didn't I show you the other day of a website that you can go to, type in your name, and it has all of the addresses that you lived in and all of the phone numbers and all the people you've lived with?
But not all. It's unreliable enough that I still feel there's some safety.
Really?
Yes.
The other day I was at the park and someone dropped their wallet. And we found it hours later. Like no one else was there. It was just me and my wife. I found his driver's license. I took his driver's license. I searched his name.
Using that site.
And his address.
Such a creep.
And I got his phone number. I called his phone number. It forwarded to another number. But long story short, I couldn't get his current phone number. But I got his previous phone number and his previous address. And then I eventually figured out what his actual phone number was from doing this.
Wow.
Called him on his cell phone, left him a message. The next day, the wallet was gone. And I hid it in a spot that would not be easily... It wouldn't be easily found. Like, if you were walking around, you wouldn't be like, oh, there's a wallet. You'd have to, move shit out of the way to get it. And the wallet was gone.
Whoa.
So, all of your information is already online. So, give it to the guitar store so they can send you ads so you can buy more shit.
Right. So that's the thing, though. That's what I don't follow. It's bad enough that it's already out there. It's like your house is already on fire, so you might as well light your office on fire too. You know what I mean? Like why if something is bad is making it worse the logical thing?
I don't think you're making it worse. You're just making it more convenient for you.
How is it more convenient?
Because if I get ads for things that I potentially want to purchase, I'm happy by that.
I hate ads more than anything.
If I can log in to my phone and open up Google Maps, and Google Maps is like, oh, it's Thursday at 4 p.m. You always go to this restaurant.
Whoa.
Let me navigate you there. I'm like, this is awesome.
That's one thing, but the thing that we're talking about specifically is like you're just going to get flyers from Guitar Center for horrendously overpriced cables.
We don't know that. I said a guitar store. Why would you think it'd be a Guitar Center?
Because I know it is, and I'm putting your personal information out there. You're comfortable with that, right?
That's fine.
Such an asshole.
Maybe we should get a P.O. box so people can send us stuff. But anyway, we got really off topic. You want to go on to number 2 of something?
Yeah,
I just want to say
the actual good point. I should have never tried to warm up with a
antidote.
Semi-interesting point number 1.
Nope.
Okay, so point number 2, the one that I really think is the important one. I'm going to read. I'm going to read the highest voted comment on this Hacker News headline. The headline is "The Equifax breach exposes America's identity crisis." So the top comment is, "I found the argument convincing that even naming the breach identity theft is beginning to push responsibility away from Equifax and make it seem like a personal problem of those affected."
But it is. It is a personal problem of those affected.
No, I mean, on a practical level, it has consequences for those people.
Right.
But what he's talking about is...
Oh, like making it sound like it's our fault.
Right. Identity theft, like something was stolen from you, but you actually were not involved in that transaction. It was...
You were indirectly, but yes, I understand what you're saying.
Well, right. As a result, you're involved now. But the actual crime... and somebody in a different comment that I was looking for said this in a way that I thought was more succinct. But basically, the crime that happened didn't involve you. The fact that it's allowed to damage you, and that like the burden of proof when your identity's stolen and used to open up a new credit line or whatever, and you actually like money has been lost.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that the burden of proof is on you to prove that it wasn't you spending that money is insane, because the crime that actually happened is the result of negligence. Well, first, in this case, negligence of like Equifax, not protecting your data. But even in general, it's negligence of the bank to properly verify the identity of the person that they're about to loan money to. And it's fraud on the part of the person that's actually committing the crime. That crime is happening between your bank and a criminal.
Not really your bank.
And you're liable for it in a way.
Not really your bank.
Whatever credit institution's giving out that credit.
Right. No, because I don't even blame the banks or the credit card companies in this. This isn't their fault.
They are in charge of deciding whether or not to loan money to a human being.
Right, and they're using a company. It's like for us, if we want to use AWS, like if AWS gets hacked or all their infrastructure goes down, we're going to blame AWS.
But if someone calls AWS and says, "Hey, I'm Jeff. Can you please extend $500,000 of credit to me?" And then they spend that money, and then you get the bill, and you're like, "What is this?" And AWS says, "Well, we verified their identity. They said they were you."
No, I mean
it's
using...
your fault.
No,
You
I'm
gotta
talking
pay
about
us.
them using a third party. Like they're using some company that is supposed to say, like, this is...
Fine. I mean, so that's between the whoever's extending the credit to that person and the agency they're using for it. But it's a problem that doesn't involve you.
Right. I don't know what you're saying then.
The point is that I don't know if this is because they've paid a fair amount of lobbying money, but the laws actually don't protect you. They put the burden of proof on you and not on the bank to say, do you know what I mean?
I guess.
You're the little guy and you get screwed.
Right. That's how it always is.
I'm not saying it's not how it always is. I'm just saying that it's still not okay, even though it tends to be that way.
I just blame Equifax.
Yeah, I mean, in this case,
they provide a service that they sucked at. I don't blame a bank because the bank's using the service.
yeah, but the bank is the one that's actually being robbed.
Oh,
Well,
you
that's
mean
what I'm saying.
you mean
Is they're
like
making it your fault.
you mean like in the grand scheme of things?
Yeah. It's like so let's say the person isn't just doing like fraud, they're actually doing like an armed robbery.
Mm-hmm.
Like if they go in and steal money, sure, that money is like belongs to the people that have accounts at that bank. But those people aren't liable for it the way they are when somebody like impersonates those people. You know what I'm saying?
I think that's partially because like the laws haven't caught up with technology.
Yeah, I agree. People with a lot of money, organizations with a lot of money, have a vested interest in not making themselves more liable than they already are.
Right.
I don't think it's a mystery. I'm just saying it sucks.
That it sucks. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a necessary evil, though.
Why is it necessary? Why does it have to be that way?
Because credit exists. If credit didn't exist, then this wouldn't be a necessary evil. You need another company to verify your word. It's like the same thing when you need to get a official document signed and you need a notary.
Sure.
That notary is used to say like, no, this is the person that actually signed this piece
Right.
of paper, other than like, you know, you coming in and signing something that looks like my name.
But that's exactly the thing. That notary, it's binding for the notary somehow, right?
You mean like
They're liable in some way?
I am not sure.
But that's like the whole point of a notary, is to make sure so that it can't be your fault when you're not involved. And some fraudster goes to the notary, gets something notarized, and the bank believes it. That's between those three entities, not you. Even if technically, they used your name or whatever.
I guess.
That's all I'm saying. I mean, and that's why I think this is an interesting point, is because like the things that are happening here are actually all already crimes that are covered by the law. It's just that conveniently in this case, the burden of proof is on us to prove like that we didn't buy a boat in Florida or something.
Yeah. But I have a feeling that's probably going to change.
I hope so. I mean, so this might actually be overall a good thing.
Right.
Is that enough voters are pissed and want to see something change.
Right, but I don't know. As a voter, I don't know what I would vote for. I think because so much information was stolen for so many people, that it's going to change the way the financial system works a little bit. It's going to have to. Well,
Jesus, I hope so.
It's going to have to if people's information starts getting used. If the information just gets out there and it's just like a handful, less than 1% of the people
Actually get
like have something happen to them, that's now, so 1% of the people is still like 1.4 million people. That's still a shitload of people. But say only 100,000 people deal with this, then nothing's going to,
yeah, I agree.
nothing's going to happen. But if a huge majority of people have something happen to them, then something's going to change.
I agree that it would have to, just in terms of how much, if the processes for dealing with this, like locking your credit or like, making like credit inquiries. Oh, I guess that's pretty easy.
Well, so locking your credit has changed already.
Because of this?
Yeah. So
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
in some states, I believe that they're either refunding you or you can do it for free, lock your credit through Equifax.
Okay, that's cool.
Like I think you still have to pay
The other
Experian and TransUnion because like it's not their fault.
Right.
But I'm pretty sure that like
How much you want to bet that TransUnion and Experian are like having their IT guys working in shifts right now to like, I guess it's time to patch after all.
I fucking hope so. I mean,
I could just see it because it could have happened to any of them from what I've heard.
potentially it already did happen to them and they just don't know. But
That's the real threat with these kinds of penetrations. It's like once somebody's in, the time that it often takes to detect them is rough, especially if they're being smart.
yeah.
Like a lot of the time, these entities that are committing the crimes are caught because they do really dumb stuff that actually like affects services.
Right.
Like they'll slam a database with queries so that database will fall over, and then suddenly people are like, "Whoa, why did that database go down?" And then they're like, "Oh, it's because someone's in there slamming it with queries, and it's not us."
Right.
Which means that, and this is just like a truism in the security industry, is that like smart criminals a lot of the time
Right.
simply don't get caught, and it doesn't get noticed. Like that information is still being stolen and then sold and then used.
Anyway, so yeah, a bunch of incompetent people. I hope it's incompetent and not vicious or not malicious. I mean, use your ATM card. Don't buy stuff on credit. I mean, it's a necessary evil and it sucks.
Right. Stay tuned.
Yeah.
Let's see what they fuck up next.
Yeah. I mean, they have to change something. Like, something has to happen from this.
I hope so.
Yeah. But
anyway, lock or freeze your things. Check your transactions carefully.
Yeah. I mean, at the very least, go to annualcreditreport.com and get a copy of your credit report just so you can see what is on there. And then you can verify that later with like next year's to see if something has happened. Well, hopefully this episode wasn't all over the place. And hopefully there was not too many plosives and Dave breathing too much, which I have a feeling there might be. That is a terrible.
I'm going to make an ASMR channel with this mic. It's going to be ASMR Linux tutorials. First,
maybe if you got
I
your
want you to pop a shell open.
maybe if you got your fiance to be like
oh, the
thumbnail
narrator,
or like just the video of you, then
yeah.
maybe.
If I was a woman wearing low cut shirts, I'd have like 1,000 times the subscribers I have.
That's true. I want to apologize again for all the links in our description never working right.
And thank you for those of you that actually clicked and like copy pasted and probably like manually edited the link to get it to work.
Yeah.
To make sure that we got a humble bundle cut. Appreciate that.
Yes, thank you. So survey.kernelpanicpodcast.com so you can give us some feedback. If you could go and rate us on iTunes and DM us or tweet at us your review to iTunes so you can be entered in to get a $25 Amazon gift card. There's links down in the description if you want to help support any of the stuff that we use, like BarkBox or Linode, whatever for hosting.
I'm gonna put the DigitalOcean code down there too.
Sure.
DigitalOcean is really cool. I'm not being paid to say this.
Right.
I've been kind of like using them for small side things. Obviously, at work, I've been using primarily Amazon for years and years, and some Google Cloud as well. But I think for private projects, companies like DigitalOcean are probably your best bet. They also have really interesting services like S3. They have their own object store thing now.
I like Linode because it's so cheap.
How cheap is it?
$5 a month for the cheapest one.
Yeah.
Amazon has their own service now.
Their own.
Their own like $5 a month web hosting service.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I haven't used it.
It
But
makes sense that they would try to capture that market and get them in.
yeah, maybe we should do a little class on that or something.
Yeah, that might be useful.
Or a video or something. But please fill out the survey. Please rate us on iTunes. And if for some reason you have not subscribed to us through your podcast reader, if you could do that, that would be awesome. Because then we get an idea on how many people are actually listening to the podcast.
Thanks again for listening, guys. I hope that's been at least somewhat interesting, even if it was depressing. I think we're all pretty depressed about it.
Yeah.
We'll see you next week.
Yeah. Okay.
Thanks again.
Yeah.